My name is Caroline Whitmore, 68, a retired English teacher, and this old house has been my anchor ever since my husband passed. I never thought the place I poured my life into would become a battlefield. But that truth hit me on a rain-soaked afternoon I'll never forget. The storm rattled the windows, the wind whistling through the eaves, and I had just set the kettle on when the doorbell rang. 3 sharp rings. When I opened it, there she was, Sabrina, my brand new daughter-in-law, standing under a white umbrella, smiling as if she'd just won something. Behind her was a man in a wrinkled suit holding a notary's case. And behind him, my son Daniel, drenched and silent. "Carolyn," she said sweetly, brushing past me before I could answer. "We just need to finalize a few things with the house. I brought a notary so we can make it official today." The word house hit me like a clap of thunder. My house, the home where Daniel learned to walk, where I stayed up nights grading essays, where my husband's voice still seemed to echo through the hallways. Sabrina walked straight into the living room and spread papers across the coffee table like she already owned it. The top sheet caught my eye, power of attorney. My name was typed above a forged signature. Daniel avoided my eyes. Didn't need him to speak. Understood everything. I smiled tightly, the kind of smile you give a predator before letting it know you see its teeth. They expected me to break down, beg, or obey blindly. They were wrong. I didn't react. I set the kettle back on the stove, letting the water boil slow and steady. This wasn't their ambush. It was the beginning of my war. The first hint of Sabrina's true nature came a week earlier at their wedding. I had been in the back of the reception hall, watching Daniel beam like love could solve every problem. Sabrina floated in white silk, glowing with that polished bridal radiance. When she hugged me before the ceremony, she whispered, "You raised a strong man. I promised to take care of him." I wanted to believe her. God help me, I did. The night passed in champagne, toasts, and photographs. But I caught her scanning the room, not with joy, but calculation. As if taking inventory of everything she had just stepped into. After the honeymoon, they came for dinner. I thought it was a simple visit. Instead, Sabrina insisted her parents come along. Her mother peppered me with questions about square footage, school districts, resale value. Her father wandered through the house, phone in hand, snapping photos like an appraiser. I smiled, chest tight. They weren't visiting family. They were scouting property. The morning after that dinner, I was carrying a dish towel when I heard voices. Sabrina's tone floated down the hall like poison. "So when do we unlock the house?" She whispered. "Unlock," she continued. "Do you know what a place like this could sell for? We could flip it." How much longer is she really going to need? All that space? I pressed my palm to the wall. My heart thudded. My home, my memories were reduced to numbers and profit in their eyes. I played along. Brewed coffee for her, asked about her manicure, helped her find her phone charger. She called me Mom, smiled, leaned against me. But inside, I had made a quiet decision. I would not warn them, confront them, or show my hand too soon. I wasn't preparing to surrender. I was preparing to watch. It was Tuesday when I understood how far Sabrina's plan had gone. I was in the produce aisle of Whitman's Market, debating butter, when a voice called Aunt Carolyn. I turned to see Mara, Sabrina's cousin. She hugged me and said, "Congratulations." Sabrina said, "You got an amazing offer." Everyone's talking about how fast it happened. My knuckles turned white on the cart handle. The deal wasn't just whispered behind closed doors. It was spoken aloud as if my consent was irrelevant. I left the store without buying anything, sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel. My hands shook not from fear, but from anger. They thought I was prey. What they didn't know was that I had teeth. I called my old attorney, Janet Doyle, the woman who helped me settle my parents' estate decades ago. She listened quietly as I explained Sabrina's whispers, the forged papers, Mara's careless congratulations. Janet didn't flinch. "If they've presented a power of attorney you never signed, that's fraud, plain and simple." Together, we updated my will, added clauses, ensuring no transfer of property without court supervision. Checked every title and insurance document twice. I opened a safe deposit box in my name and placed the deed, the updated will, insurance policies, and birth certificates inside, locked, secured, untouchable. But armor wasn't enough. I needed proof. I called Reuben Hale, a former sheriff who ran a quiet bait shop on the edge of town. Within a week, he handed me a flash drive. That night, I closed the blinds and listened. Sabrina's voice filled the room, raw, unguarded. Laughing, plotting, we'll flip the house the second she. Signs. Daniel's already looking at listings. She won't fight us. She thinks silence makes her safe. It just makes her easy. I wrote it down in my journal. It's June 11th, 7:32 p.m. Audio evidence secured confirms intent to sell without consent. 2. Nights later, Daniel appeared at my door alone, his hands shoved in pockets, hesitant, nervous. Mom, Sabrina thinks it's time. We found a condo in Newark. You'd love it. He was reading a script. Her script. I let him speak. When he hinted at consequences, maybe we'll have to reevaluate things, I stayed calm. I'm not leaving, I said flatly. In limbo, he repeated, bitter. I pressed my palm to the doorframe. History isn't a burden, I told him. It's earned at the next day. I drove to Hartford to see Judge Edward Callahan, retired friend of my late husband. We drafted a living trust for the house, locked tight, and a separate trust for my savings. I added one more line that mattered most. Disinheritance for Daniel and Sabrina if they tried further interference. It's the true heir, Emily, my niece in Oregon, kind and trustworthy. By the time I left, I felt steadier, lighter. They thought they were circling prey. I was building a fortress. Thursday afternoon, they returned Sabrina triumphant, Daniel hesitant, the notary ready. But waiting quietly in my foyer was Deputy Monroe from the sheriff's office. I handed Sabrina a thick, sealed envelope. This is a formal cease and desist, effective immediately. You are barred from any legal or financial action regarding this property. Shock froze their faces. Daniel stammered. Mom, you called the cops on us? I called the courts, I said evenly, and they answered. Later that evening, Daniel came back alone, exhausted. She loved the money more than me, he whispered. And I let her. I nodded. You let her. I saw a flicker of the boy I raised, but flickers aren't enough to erase fire. You're my son, I said. But respect isn't optional. If you want to be the man I know you can be, it's without reward. He left quietly, shoulders lower than when he arrived. That evening, I sat by the window, hydrangeas swaying in the breeze. The deed now locked in trust. My niece Emily would inherit the house someday. But what she would truly inherit was peace, because love without respect is not love at all. It's just a transaction waiting to expire. And mine had finally. If you love stories of family secrets, betrayal, and revenge, subscribe to Shattered Bonds for more chilling tales.